Hola, hello, welcome to this Hispanic Heritage Month monthly webinar. So let's get started. We're going to give it a minute or two for people to start joining. And if you don't mind, let's see whether the chat functionality is open so that we can start looking at everybody, if you don't mind. Can we have the chat open so that people can say hi? Where are you dialing in from? What company? What city? What country? Um, what drives you here today? Let's see. I'm gonna start. Hola from New York. Let's see. Hi from Guadalajara, Mexico. Hola. Hello. Hi, Nidia from San Antonio, Nationwide Insurance. Welcome. We're gonna give it a minute or two. Welcome to the Hispanic Heritage Month Toolkit webinar, monthly webinar. Today we have news and we have a new release for all of you. So thank you so much. If you want to just let's start by, while we wait for others, just start using the chat to say hello. Hi, Edwina from Unilever in Englewood, and Monica from San Antonio, Texas. Lupe, hello. Hi, everyone. So we're going to give it 1 minute. If someone, hola Antonio from Latino College Expo in New York City, Liz Zarate and I, on behalf of the World Human Team, welcome you today to our Hispanic Heritage Month Toolkit. We're going to start. My name is, welcome everybody. My name is Claudia Romo Edelman. I'm the founder and CEO of the World Human Foundation, and I'm delighted to share with you today the Toolkit 2023 for Hispanic Heritage Month. Liz, if you want to keep going, we're going to start with something that I hope all of you know. But Latinos, we are critical to America. We're critical to corporate America. We're critical to the future of this country. We're the economic power. We're $2.8 trillion that pretty much, if you put it together, would be generating 12% of the GDP of the country. So we're bringing the power and the prosperity of the country in a massive way, and that 12% of the GDP is growing 7% faster than China. And if you pair the economic power of Latinos with the size of our population, we're 20% of the population today, 30% of the population tomorrow. As I always say, by 2050, 1 in every 3 Americans will be Latinos. Hello, hello, hola. So it is imperative that we understand our numbers, that we understand our data. And this is really part of what the toolkit is trying to do, to mobilize and equip corporations, organizations, and individuals with the data that you need, with the messaging that you need, so we can navigate Hispanic Heritage Month together. And Antonio, yes, this will be, I think that this will be recorded, right, Liz? This is being recorded and will be shared. So let's go to the next slide. What we are, and it is clear that we're the youth, the population, the economic power. We are the entrepreneurs. 1 in every 5 entrepreneurs is a Latinos. Latinas create small businesses faster than any other group in America. We're the youngest of all, a decade at least younger than the rest of the population in the average. And so it is clear that we're the entrepreneurs, the job makers, the citizens, the employers, the social media users, the educated, and yet we're underrepresented, misrepresented, and undervalued. And we need to fix this situation. And we need to do it by solving our unity, increasing our perception, and our representation. And that is a clear message to all of us here in the room and for everyone else. Part of what we're trying to do is to solve a crisis. We have a perception crisis. According to the census and according to all the data that I just shared with you, we are related to progress, to growth. And yet, when you look at the perception and the portrayal of Latinos in the media and public opinion, we're seen as lazy, overly sexualized, stereotype, illegal immigrants, exotic lovers, and so on. So we have a perception crisis and we have to solve it. We have to be speaking with one single voice and correct and set the record straight. Let's look at a video that exemplifies something that I released in Cannes last year when trying to actually talk about how are the Latino community portrayed overall.
Horrible lo que te sale de esta boca.
Sound.
Cinco de Mayo. Let me just take a shot here to get the thing started. You know, Olay.
We love Pantene shampoo. It's all natural. So it's got everything our hair needs.
You work here and you don't speak any English at all. Save me.
This holiday is also known as Cinco de Drinko.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
So pretty much this is, and welcome everyone else that has joined us into this monthly webinar of the Hispanic Heritage Month 2023. For those of you that just arrived, please feel free to use the chat to allocate where you're calling, where you're dialing from, whether the company or the city. But pretty much what this is recognizing that Latinos are an incredible power of the country, that we represent growth and progress, and yet we're underrepresented, misrepresented, and undervalued. We just shared how much we have a perception crisis, and we need a new narrative. And this is an incredible opportunity for everyone, particularly for companies and organizations, to talk to us and start bringing a new narrative that is meaningful and respectful and relevant, one in which we're portrayed as what we are, positive contributors to the country, Hispanic stars. And that's why we created the Hispanic Star to start with. We recognize that Latinos were 200% of a person, 100% Latinos and 100% Americans, and we took the star from the American flag, the virgulillo or the ñ of Espanol and Portuguese, and you put it together and boom, there you go, representing us all. And this is not us, this is an incredible donation of WPP Gray Agency a couple of years ago to provide us with a symbol to unify us all, whether you're Mexican, Colombian, Venezuelan. We are all Latinos, we're all Hispanics or Latinx, whatever you want to use. But we also need a platform to showcase the incredible contributions of Latinos to the country. So we created this symbol as a framework so that we can all, when you see it in the future, you can say like, yes, that brand represents Latino unity, power, and empowerment, the way that the rainbow represents the LGBTQ community and provides pride also for the allies to be simpaticos to the cause. Or when you look at the ring of the Sustainable Development Goals, when you know that's what's good for the planet and the people, we created the Hispanic Star, and we want to make it available for all of you to be able to reposition ourselves to say, like, I am a Hispanic Star company, I celebrate my Hispanic Star employees, and I want to make sure that I can share it with people and have a public face interaction to say, I care about you, I see you, I want to celebrate you, so that consumers and individuals can make choices of where to work, where to buy, and how to be portrayed. So what we're introducing this year is a toolkit that Liz is going to describe in a second. We're introducing a technique allowing us to make sure that this toolkit provides you with an opportunity to flip the script. Flip the script, understanding it as flip the script is a technique that challenges negative stereotypes and biases about Latinos, promoting a more inclusive and positive narrative that reflects the strength and resilience of our communities. It's also called asset values framing, where you allow yourself to refocus from deficits to strength, so that when people say like, oh, Latinos, pobrecitos, you know, like you came to this country with nothing, I'm like, no, pobrecitos nada. Let's actually reframe it so that we're like, yeah, we're resourceful and we're resilient, and that is exactly what the country needs, and that's exactly what we're bringing, so that we are moving the conversation from a position of weakness to a position of power. So we're going to give you in this toolkit everything you need as a company, as an individual, and as an organization, so that you can be flipping the scripts, celebrating Hispanics, sharing your interest and your celebration for Latinos, and therefore positioning yourself as a Latino-friendly organization or as an institution, and navigating that with care. So the theme of this year, the official theme of this year, that we're very happy that is very close to what we've been suggesting to the White House, is related to building prosperous and healthy communities. For us, we want to build on around the idea that Hispanics are the drivers of America's prosperity, power, and progress. And the narrative that you will have in your toolkit really digs into that. As I said, the official theme from the White House, the presidential Hispanic Heritage Month theme, is building prosperous and healthy communities. Each and every one of the weeks of Hispanic Heritage Month that happens between September 15 and October 15 will have a theme: jobs and economy, climate, education, and mental health and wellness. Those are the priorities of the White House this year, to be able to be talking about those. I'll get deeper into understanding why did we want to equip all of you with these themes of prosperity, power, and progress. So when we're talking about prosperity, prosperity is understood as a condition of being successful or thriving, particularly economically, and that's actually what Latinos are. We are bringing prosperity to America, economic prosperity particularly. We are behind the driving force behind that. I mentioned the $2.8 trillion $2.8 trillion, the size of our economy, the 12% of the GDP, the almost $2 trillion that we represent as purchasing power, and our values. Our values are driving that economic prosperity because we're hard workers, we're fighters, we're optimistic, we're family values. And when there are lows in these countries, Latinos go high, the way that we saw it with the pandemic. You will see and you will have these talking points and these key messages developed with precisely all the data points that you need to make sure that the argument of Latinos bringing economic prosperity to the country as a strong one. The second point that we want to make is power, Latino power, understood as the ability or act to produce an effect, possessing control, authority, or influence over others, being a controlling group. And this is really important because, as you saw in the last election, Latino power is American power, and no one will disregard our vote anymore in the future. So when you're looking from population growth to political representation, the unstoppable rise of Latino power in America, from demographic, behavioral, age, from sentiment, from the future, what is Latino, generating a lot of data for you about Latinas as top job generator and having an increasing purchasing power, Hispanic culture shaping global culture, Latino power, making it in the top charts every month of every year in the last years, shaping global culture, and Hispanics becoming increasingly influential in politics, Latino power. And the last element that we want to bring to you is progress understood as the distance and as the improvement or advancement in a positive direction. And so from education to politics, Latinos are advancing in the positive direction and driving American progress. We want to make sure that you understand, that everybody understands through the data, through the messaging, through the assets we're going to be providing you, that Hispanic progress is American progress. And we are making progress. We're making progress in every single aspect of our life. Maybe not as fast as we want, maybe not as steady as we want, but we're making progress in the population, in the economic power, in our upward mobility, income, poverty rate, education, homeownership, in workforce. So yes, Latinos are driving America's prosperity, power, and progress. And this is your invitation to activate Hispanic Heritage Month bigger, better, and bolder before, and navigating it with confidence so that you can celebrate Latinos, take a stand, and attract Latinos, and engage with Latinos as employees, consumers, and the community.
All right. Thank you, Claudia, for that insightful intro. So right now I'm going to show to you the materials of the toolkit. Today we are launching the Spanish version of it, so we're going to take a closer look for that. For those of you that are not familiarized with the toolkit, we put a short video where we explain a bit how it works and what it encounters. I'm going to go through each one of these points, but let's just watch this video first.
Latinos are a driving force of prosperity, power, and progress in the U.S. And for the 4th year in a row, we have prepared a toolkit to help companies and organizations activate Hispanic Heritage Month in a powerful way. If you want to celebrate your Hispanic employees, consumers, and community members, this toolkit is an essential resource for planning your Hispanic Heritage Month activations. The Hispanic Star Toolkit includes everything you need to be equipped for this month, all in one single place. This includes a unifying messaging framework to sync from the same song sheet and create support networks to progress, celebrate, and uplift the community to prosperity. We have prepared a guideline with key messages, narrative, and talking points for internal and external communication. Additionally, the toolkit includes ready-to-go presentations and datasets to spread the word about the power of Hispanics. With A to Z facts and figures from the most reputable sources about demography, behavior, and sentiment of Latinos in the U.S., as well as did you knows and infographics. Use this data and let everyone know the Latino community's power and contributions to the progress of America. Furthermore, communication assets are provided under a unifying branding constituted by visual assets for social media, videos, logos, radio scripts, web banners, out-of-home, print materials, and more, with sample applications included. Adopt the Hispanic Star look and seize the marketing opportunity presented with Hispanic Heritage Month. Join the visionary leaders that engage genuinely with Hispanics and activate the Hispanic Heritage Month Toolkit. Let's unite forces and set the record straight that Latinos are driving prosperity, power, and progress. Download and use our toolkit at hispanicstar.org/toolkit. Latinos are...
Second. Okay, so with that in mind, it's important for us to share with you the objectives that we have for Hispanic Heritage Month, and that we hope that all of us adopt and make part of our activities and our actions from today until Hispanic Heritage Month. So the first one is position Hispanics as positive contributors to the country and as growth. For that, we have data that can support that this objective. The second one, it has to do with speaking with one voice and break through the noise with a unified kickoff. We are having a kickoff event on September 15th this year. You're all invited to join and to adopt all of the materials that we have, that we will be presenting here today. The number 3 is mainstream Hispanic Heritage Month and reach critical mass. Year after year, we see how this narrative it's permeating and making sense in many different levels. So we want to keep that conversation going in more spaces. So whether you are activating your company, corporation, or even at an individual level, it's important for us to be spreading the message so that we can, in a few years from today, feel proud of how mainstream Hispanic Heritage Month and the Latino contributions are. And the fourth one, it has to do with elevating the Hispanic Star brand to elevate the Latino visibility. This symbol that Claudia introduced a few minutes ago, that it's a symbol for all of us to unite on with pride. So today we're launching the Hispanic Star Toolkit version in Spanish. So I'm gonna go quickly through the website where you can find the toolkit. So in here, this is the website where you can find all of the resources. You will find at the beginning the briefing book, which I'm gonna go back in a second. It's where you will find all of the information and the narrative and evidence points for the Hispanic Heritage Month. In here, if you go scrolling down, you will find the branding guidelines of the toolkit, a very beautiful US Hispanic manifesto with a decalogue that speaks directly to our unity, our pride, and the impact that we are putting in the country. And in here, you will find the toolkit in Spanish. So the way to access it is literally in here, you can filter by language. These are all of the English assets that are available. And I'm going to focus today on the resources in Spanish. So in Spanish, we have also some mock-ups of print materials that might be of your interest to be in Spanish. Also some out-of-home materials to have in screens, in any place you can think of. You can download each one of these assets directly from here. You can also see them in here, and you can share directly on your social media if you want it like that. In here you can see all of the materials all together. As you can see, we have here radio script. We have all of the general messaging of the toolkit for social media. Let me go a bit down. And in here you can start filtering by category. For example, we're looking for data in Spanish. So you will have in here you can access here the data sets, no, and also the presentation about US Hispanics in Spanish. Or if you're also looking for digital assets, then you have them in here. You can filter also by for social media, for web, in a horizontal or vertical version. As you can see, we have also different themes, so themes that you can also filter in this left side of the screen. So as you can see, it's a very comprehensive set of assets, all of them in Spanish and in English. As for now, we are developing also some infographics in Spanish. Those take a bit more time, so those ones are going to be available later today. I'm going to show the infographics in here just so that you can see them. These are one of our most, just a second. Here are all the infographics that you can access as well. Okay, so this page is made for you so that it's easy to navigate and easy to access all the resources. I'm gonna stay a bit on the briefing book so that we can understand all of the materials that we have in here. We also have this briefing book in Spanish version. I'm gonna focus today just to guide you quickly through the resources in English, but know that you can find it in Spanish as well. So in here, the things that you will find in the briefing book have to do with the objectives that I already mentioned earlier, some of the important dates that I'm going to remind you at the end of this webinar. We will also find the overarching theme, which is what Claudia teased earlier today, the key messages for that with detailed evidence data points. What do we mean when we say that Hispanics are driving progress? What do we mean when we say that we are driving prosperity and power? So all of these data points, you will find them in here. You can also find the US Hispanic Manifesto, the US Hispanic Decalogue, the Hispanic Star Call to Action, and individual links so that you can access all of these things that I've been mentioning before. The messaging framework, social media messaging, whether you're if you're an individual or a corporation, templates about the contributions of US Hispanics, the Hispanic Star social media template for employees so that you can shine light on the contributions that these persons are making to your company or organization. An open template, unifying data sets, and branding and communication assets. So I'm going to go quickly through this, and then I'm going to go back to the presentation to show you some examples of activation. So these are the objectives that I mentioned before, some of the important dates, the overarching theme explained, the key messages with evidence data points. All of the sources are also indicated in here in case you need to quote that. The detailed messages and evidence data points. As you can see, it's a very long and interesting read. I'm sure that if you read this, you're gonna end up being fluent in Latino contributions, which is the idea for all of us, no? This is the unifying messaging framework that you can use on social media. We have some of the recommended hashtags for the month. I mean, we have been seeing that since we launched the toolkit last month, people are already using it. So feel free to just start the conversation early. That's totally fine. These are some social media messaging divided by prosperity, power, and progress with evidence, with hashtags, etc. So I'm going to go back. This is just ways to activate and a very cool read. So I'm going to go back to the presentation so that we can see some of the ways that we can activate. I'm going to show to you some internal activations, external activations, and ways that you can adopt the Hispanic Star within your activities. So when we talk about internal activation examples, some of the things that we've been seeing in the past that are very useful for companies, they have to do with highlighting your Hispanic employees everywhere, whether it's in a newsletter or in the web or in your websites. People, so some organizations make blog posts about them, social media posts as well, data presentations. So everything to highlight the contributions that your Latino employees make to your workplace. This is the time to do it. The second one, another example, it's equipping your Latino workforce, Latino and non-Latino workforce, with the right tools, with data. There we have very easy to digest data sets that you can just share in any channel that you prefer. So this is all about talking about Hispanic progress. We also have some print materials about Hispanic Heritage Month goodies, meaning tote bags, mugs, stickers, cardboards. I mean, we've seen a lot of corporations through these 4 years that, for example, if they have a conference, they print some cardboards with data about Latinos. Or if they are having a lunch, then they print the infographics and they give them away. Or we have also seen that they make t-shirts with the Hispanic Star. So you have all of these materials ready to download and send to your printer in our website. And the fourth one, maybe organizing an event and showing your employees the contributions of US Hispanics to the country. For that, we have the presentation about data that I mentioned earlier. So moving forward to the external activation examples, this has to do with activating the Hispanic Star Toolkit and highlighting your contributions with the Hispanic Star across all of your channels, meaning media placement, billboards, newspapers, point of sales, event participation, like anything that you can think of. We have materials for that externally to activate, whether it's just a sticker or a video, a high quality video made, we have all of those resources. We invite you to repurpose your media properties to highlight your Hispanic employees and your Hispanic community, like your audience, and showing your commitment to diversity and inclusion with all of the marketing materials that we have available for you in here. Also, so that you know, we are doing customization of the assets. So far, we've had a very positive response about it, and we are tweaking some of our assets so that they make sense to your specific needs in your corporation, no? And of course, using the Hispanic Star for live events, like in any way that you can think of, where you can use the Hispanic Star Toolkit, no? We're ready for that. These are some activations that we've had in the past. For example, we have activated with soccer teams, we have activated in art centers, we have also activated at restaurants and airports. So this is also some ideas for you in case you can think where we can make the Hispanic Star Toolkit available and visible. I mean, this is just the beginning, no? We are suggesting streets, art center, libraries, museums, restaurants, any place you can think of. And in here, we have also been working with some brands to create excitement about Hispanic Heritage Month via point of sale. So these are some examples, again, that we can start thinking about creating special edition items or special promotions or special, whatever you want to call it, for Hispanic Heritage Month. And of course, we understand that there are some frameworks and guidelines within corporations that probably limit a bit the use of some of these materials. So for that, our general invitation is to adopt the look. You are seeing right now the colors that we're using, the style that we're using, the vibe that we want to make very unique to Hispanic Heritage Month. So just feel free to use it and to include it. We have a brand book with the elements, with the visual elements that we're seeing right now, so that we can just in a few years see how much progress we've made in creating a unified look for Hispanic Heritage Month. Okay, so before going to the next slide, I wanted to make an invitation to some of the activities that we're going to have for Hispanic Heritage Month. I already mentioned the opening ceremony in the beginning. It's on September 15th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. So it's a 45-minute program where we recognize the contributions of Latinos and we speak about the themes that we've been discussing so far. So we invite you to join. In the past, we've been doing some massive transmissions of this opening ceremony, which is virtual. So feel free to organize a session with your ERGs, with your friends, family, colleagues, whoever you want to kick off the month with. You're invited to come. And also we are having a lot of books this year out that speak about just this, though, about Latino contributions. Actually, tomorrow we are launching the 2 next volumes of our children's books with Silvia Rivera and Selena Gomez's story. And in September, for Hispanic Heritage Month, we are launching a children's book for Sonia Sotomayor and Elena Ochoa, both of them in Spanish and English versions. And also we are having the launch of our 4th volume of Hispanic Stars Rising. We still have submissions open, so in case you want to submit your story, you are still on time to share with us your inspiring story. So coming up next, we are going to do every month a quick touch base about the resources that we have available for you. Last month, we launched the toolkit. In this one, we are showing to you the Spanish version of it. Next webinar, we are going to show some of the resources available for a children's version of the toolkit, meaning that we are going to have resources available for teachers or for families that want to speak from an early age to children's about about pride, about unity, and about the contributions of Latinos. So this is the first time that we do this, and it's going to be, it's already been an incredible experience. In August 15th, we're going to have also a communications calendar available, having synced the official theme of the White House with the materials that we have, so that we are all under the same voice and the same plan and the same vision for the month. And in case your company or organization is interested in having some assets customized, our deadline is August 31st. So we still have time so that you can take a look at the toolkit and see the resources that we have. And we will hopefully see you next month on our webinar to launch the children's version of the toolkit. We wanted to share also some of the companies and organizations that are activating with us for Hispanic Heritage Month. We have been having conversations with the Department of Education, and we are activating with more than 500 schools in New York City the toolkit. So it's an important moment to amplify the message and to make them make children since young age and teachers part of this narrative, no? And also a lot of conversations are going around with this toolkit. So the doors are open, the conversation is open. In case you want to have any further conversation about exploring ways to partner, we can do that. We can partner in pretty much any way you can imagine, no? We have created specific campaigns for corporations. We have created maybe some just style. So happy to have a conversation with you about it. I don't know, Claudia, if you want to add anything else before saying goodbye today?
No, I think that this was amazing. Congratulations for launching the Spanish version of the toolkit. This is amazing. I hope that this is useful. As Liz said, whether you already are advanced in your plans or whether this is, like new to you, we hope that this is useful, valuable, that if you have already plans, you adopt the look so that you can help us actually to unify the messaging and the identity of what we have. And I would love to ask if anybody has any question. I know that I had a question before about how much we're collaborating with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And so we collaborate with everyone and we open up the toolkit for everyone. We also, to Wilkins' question about the opening ceremony, we have had in the past a major multinational corporations with thousands of employees broadcast the opening ceremony for everyone. And we do it in a way, we give it to you ahead of time so that you can, like check it out, so that you can be confident that the content will be representing, properly the organization, and that you can broadcast it to all. And so we do encourage global broadcasting of the opening ceremony so that you can get all your employees, whether they are Latinos or not, aware of the power and the power of the Latino community and the opportunity. Anyone else that has questions, we can go for like a couple of questions, I would say, if anyone has any question. And Pamela, glad that you find this valuable. Great, thank you, Ingrid. Thank you, Olivia. Thank you so much. It's important for us to know that what we're doing is helping you equip yourself. Any questions or comments?
Also, something that we've been doing the past few weeks since we launched it, it's having short conversations with, if you're interested in activating this material, we're having short conversations with your teams. And from those brainstorming sessions, we have come up with some very cool collaborations. So I know that this is maybe a lot to digest at the first moment, but our team is open to have these brainstorming sessions where we can find collaboration points and ways to activate. As you can see, we have resources like to share widely. So happy to have those conversations as well.
I think that what we should end with is providing you with the emails that you can have this with, and the websites where this is, hispanicstar.org, as Marisa has been saying, hispanicstar.org/toolkit. And I think that the focal point of Hispanic Heritage Month is Liz Zarate. Congratulations, Liz, for the work that you're doing. Liz at worldhuman.org, Claudia at worldhuman.org. And we will share with you all the recorded version of today, and also the video that explains the Hispanic Heritage Month Toolkit value and activation, so that you can bring it to the head of your employee resource groups, to the head of your marketing, to your head of HR, for anyone that needs a little bit more understanding of what's possible. But start planning ahead of time. We have 4 months to go, so see you next month. Thank you so much, everybody.